What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Friday edition, not the injury show. We do have some injuries to talk about that are pretty irrelevant with Xavier Williams, Zaire Williams, excuse me. We've got Xavier Tillman starting, and no Steven Adams adjusted. But yeah, I'm hanging out in Dallas tonight. I'm a Mavs fan now. Thank you, Dorian Finney-Smith. You are a legend, sir. How you doing today, man?
Good, man. Yeah, we were talking about this earlier. Got just one game today. Got
Mhm.
tomorrow off, and then maybe just one game on Sunday too, if this closes out tonight. So nice, light little schedule. The opportunity to get out and smell the roses. The games have been really
Yeah,
fun, mostly. So yeah, it's a good time of the year.
man. Last night was great, man.
Yeah.
The Raptors kind of let us down, but the West Coast games. I guess just real quick, how do you feel about the Heat Sixers? That's a tough. I'm probably not betting that one, man.
Yeah,
Do you have a lean on that one?
I would probably. I mean, the Sixers have just been Jekyll and Hyde. Like they've
Yeah, exactly.
really good highs and really low lows. So it's really hard to predict. I obviously like the kind of consistency and the steadiness of the Heat. I will lean
Hmm.
that way, and I think they have Adebayo to kind of throw at Joel Embiid, who's obviously clearly still hampered by that
Hmm.
hand. I know Harden was a lot more aggressive to start last game, but he as a scorer, he's definitely taken a bit of a step back. So definitely would lean
Yeah.
the Heat. The Heat's way. I think they've figured some stuff out with the rotation.
Hmm.
Oladipo's been a nice surprise. Might reinsert himself now moving forward. So I think the Heat just have a lot. You kind of know what you're getting from them a lot more than with Philly.
Yeah, definitely gonna hope Jimmy Butler's knee's okay. Probably just rested for practice today, but that's probably the series I have the least amount of confidence in.
Yeah,
So yeah, let's talk about the injuries. I guess let's just start with the injury since Zaire Williams is out and he was in the rotation. Obviously, not a very big piece. So the big question to me is, do they cut it down? We know Jenkins loves to run 10, like almost regardless. If they cut it down, does that keep Melton out? I think if they obviously expanded it, it will be Melton coming back in, who was leapfrogged by John Conchar in the last game. If they don't and they run tighter, and we saw it was pretty tight, Conchar barely played. Like we saw Tyus Jones, he was a big factor. And the other thing that I'm interested in, how much do they go that small lineup? The lineup that they close with John Morant, Tyus Jones, Dylan Brooks, Desmond Bain, and Brandon Clark. Brandon Clark, insane in the fourth quarter. But just the first question: Do you think they cut it down here, or do you think they are going to add Melton or more Conchar?
I would probably lean towards them cutting down, especially
Hmm.
with the success they had with that smaller lineup. I think we see a little bit more of that three guard lineup with Tyus Jones. I mean, it makes a lot of sense with Jaw in that in that lineup. So the Jaw without that lineup, 38 minutes beforehand, 14
Hmm.
points on 35% effective field goal. Like he
Yeah,
was bottled up big time.
yeah.
And in those 7 minutes when they ran that small
Actually,
lineup
good.
to close the game, he had 16 points on 70% effective field goal. And it makes a lot of sense because you're surrounding Jaw with their two best floor spacers that they have in
Hmm.
Tyus Jones and Desmond Bain, right?
Yeah.
So just given how much it opened things up for Ja, would lean towards Jenkins looking at that three guard look a little bit more than they did previously. And Tyus should be playing more, man. They need
Hmm.
another outlet, need a ball handler, need his spacing. So obviously he's a really good defender as well. I think getting him more involved it makes a ton of sense, especially with Zaire doubtful now.
Yeah. Yeah. So that lineup that we're talking about, 9 minutes of it, 10 free throws
Yeah,
in those 9 minutes.
no,
That was the
those
difference.
were all Jaw was nine
Yep.
for 10 free throw in those
Yep.
7 minutes. 162 offensive rating from that group. So just
Yeah.
that was the game right there.
Yeah, plus 15 in 9 minutes total. There's a 2 minute stint in the first half. But yeah, man. I think Tyus is like the X. Obviously Brandon Clark. He's not even an X factor. Like he's like the factor.
He's good. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I think Tyus is a guy that I'm interested to see how much he plays. I think he could play a lot. And he's been. I mean, this game is just like total chaos. These teams make mistakes. It's so foul heavy.
Mhm.
Tyus and the Wolves have like their version of Tyus, Spider-Man meme with Jordan McLaughlin, and we'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
But do you think and I guess do you think Tyus could cut into anybody? Does Tyus make an impact if John Morant doesn't get in foul trouble? There's like, how do you see Tyus Jones possibly cut? Like, we took an under on Kyle Anderson because I feel very confident Tyus Jones is going to be a bigger impact player than Kyle Anderson is.
Agreed. Yeah, I think he can go mid-20s and not have to cut into any of these other guys. Like take a couple from Kyle Anderson. Obviously, you get 4 of those Zaire Williams minutes freed up as well. So I think there's ways for him to just kind of tick up there more towards mid-20s without really taking from any of these other guys.
Yeah. And then do you think they're going to start Tillman again? I kind of don't see why not.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter who starts. It matters who closes. Yeah. I mean, you could just have a nominal starter out there and just have Xavier play his mid-teens, and then we know Brandon Clark is that guy. I mean, Brandon Clark in the fourth quarter. My God, I tweeted this the other day. Like he had 10 rebounds and 7 offensive rebounds in the fourth quarter alone.
Yeah,
like the Wolves had 10 rebounds and 4 offensive rebounds as a team. Like he was just insane, man.
Yeah. It's curious to see what's how is that rebound rate over 50? I think I'm pulling up right now.
Yeah.
See, he had missed it. 35% rebound rate, 54% offensive rebound rate. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So I guess the next question on the Grizzlies is Jaren Jackson foul trouble.
Yeah.
Is there a world we live in where Jaren Jackson doesn't get in foul trouble?
These are bad fouls too.
So
like
bad.
The one he had on the 3-point attempt was egregious. That was so.
Oh my God,
dude! He has 26 fouls in the series and 29 rebounds. It's so he's yet to top 27 minutes in a game this series just because of that. Like I don't really expect the foul trouble to go away like mid-series and to suddenly cut it back. But man, this is I mean, I don't think you can really go to him like if he's fouling at this higher rate.
Yeah, and I was saying like, because they've been starting Tillman, and I said this, I don't know when I said it, it's all a blur. Like, do you almost just start Jaren Jackson, put him on Cat just to start the game, and then like just go small, like just literally start Tyus in this instance? Like that doesn't sound crazy because he's dead anyways.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna play Brandon Clark like almost behind him, so you fill 48 minutes that way, probably like 4 or 5 minutes of overlap or so. Like I think that's a viable plan. But then again, I mean they're up 3-2, so I don't think they need to reinvent the wheel here.
For sure. I think maybe like that's a game 7 strategy they'll go to if needed. If they drop this one, maybe. But yeah, I think they'll just kind of play it straight and go from there, given they're up 3-2, like you said.
Yeah. I'm trying to pull. Come on, computer. I'm trying to. He's at where are you at? That can't be right. Nah, I must have screwed something up. Because he's only at 4.6 fouls per 36. That's definitely. Oh, I'm on the season. That's what the problem is. Like that's definitely not right. 1 second. Sorry, it's got to be like 10. Only 8.3 fouls per 36. He'd be awesome in summer league.
Yeah.
But so our Claff, Dank, and I were like, and John, we were like, do we play JJJ in DFS today? Like we hate to say right?
Yeah.
Like, is he just do? I hate that analysis, but how do you feel about him on DFS today? He's probably not going to be owned, right?
Yeah, I mean that's the reason you play him, right? And he's fouling a lot, but 8.3 is just obscene, and you figure he's going to get some talking to. Like they're going to I would hope they just put a compilation on the film with the 26 fouls and how egregious like 15 of them are, like it's just completely unnecessary some of the fouls he's committing. So yeah, I mean I agree with you just on the ownership. I think no one's really going to be looking to play him that much. So I agree with that. I would say, I mean, we can go to the other side a little bit here.
Yeah, let's put a bow on Memphis. We didn't really talk Ja in the backcourt really quick.
Okay.
So they changed their game plan a little bit. The Grizzlies did. They weren't running 1-man pick and roll games, and Dink and I talk a lot about this. Steven Adams obviously isn't a great offensive player, but he's such a great screen setter.
Yeah.
That they've lost that component to their offense. So their adjustment on top of the high wall coverage that the Wolves have been running, they've been running this double big screen. It's almost like a horn set, but like higher. Mm-hmm. So I think they're going to run that again. I think that the Wolves don't really need to counter. Brandon Clark just chilling in the dunker has like just wrecked them. Like he just cuts to the basket and dunks. They just lose sight of him just because there's so much action in front of them. So I think that was a good adjustment. But I think Chris Finch should be able to coach his guys. So the question I'm getting at, do you think Morant, again, it was a ghost for the first 3 quarters. Do you think we see like fourth quarter Morant or more of like the, basically the last 3 games before that fourth quarter? He's been pretty quiet.
I will lean towards the last 3 games. Before that, I think the close was a bit of an outlier, and I don't think we'll see that much of the small lineup to kind of free things up, and we'll have the shooting around him that he should. So yeah, the fourth quarter stretch, 16 points in 7 minutes was awesome, but we have a big enough sample here to kind of know what to expect. So I think it's more the older the older Morant where he's more contained than this electric Morant that shot 10 free throws in 7 minutes to close 5.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then, I mean, Desmond Bane's just like locked and loaded. Like
It
literally.
It makes sense though. They'd rather have Desmond Bane beat him than John Morant, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Finch has said it outright. Like,
Yeah.
he's basically saying, "So what?" Like, that's not their game plan.
Yeah.
And there's no reason for them to change their game plan. These are games they should be winning. And I wanted to do the math on it, but I'm curious to know like how much the Wolves have been like up, or like if you like kind of charted out how well like them playing well. Like they're probably playing well like 85% of the games, but like 15% they're not. They're like bad.
Yeah.
But definitely Bane's gonna be a lot. Definitely Dylan Brooks is gonna be. Dylan Brooks has been kind of inconsistent. Do you have any takes on Dylan?
I mean, his role isn't that great enough for me to be too excited about. I mean, he's going to play a ton. His job is more on the defensive end. So I don't think we're going to see like a huge Dylan Brooks game by any means. Just kind of more of what we've been seeing as of late.
Yeah, I could see him being overly aggressive in a closeout game. He strikes me as the kind of guy who's going to want to shoot more today.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Wolves, you were going to make a point on the Wolves. Do you?
Yeah, I mean,
take it with that.
They had that players only meeting, obviously, and I think two of the big takeaways, which are pretty obvious to anybody, of what they need to improve, are one, their ball movement. Their offense is super stagnant at times, and two is Brandon Clark is the defensive rebound, nowhere to be seen, right? So, to make some adjustments there, I guess I start with the rebounding aspect of it. Do we see more Jared Vanderbilt in this game? He's been their best rebounder just by rebound percentage in the regular season and the playoffs. They went a little bit more McDaniels to close the game. Vanderbilt didn't play a ton, but he's at 10, 18, and 13 rebounds in his last 3 games. So is that adjustment you see them making, is playing more Vanderbilt to kind of cover up on their defensive rebounding deficiencies?
Yeah, I think that he has to, and we took it over on his stocks, steals, and blocks.
Yeah,
it was the best EV edge we had on it. I feel we're being pretty conservative just because you look at his minutes, you can't really go too crazy. We saw him have a really tight first half rotation, which is a little bit troubling. But yeah, they have to. Like, he's for sure their best rebounder. Cat's not rebounding. There's a quote from Anthony Edwards saying he's going to get a bunch of rebounds today. I kind of wanted to bet the over, but we're betting him pretty hardcore under. We're not betting him. Sorry, I don't want to bet it, but we're showing it under.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Vando is definitely he's basically the Brandon Clark version for the Wolves, right? It's kind of crazy how similar these teams are.
Yeah.
But I think Vando's. I've been expecting more. He's been playing a lot, but he hasn't made like a big impact.
Yep.
I think if the Wolves win, I think he's kind of the guy I'm going to be counting on.
Yeah, this is like the Spider-Man meme. These are like two inexperienced teams that make a ton of mistakes. I think it's like I think it was like Matt Moore that said something that's like watching 2 first-year med students do performance surgery. Exactly like it. Like they just it's so high variance. The swings are crazy. These teams can go like 4 minutes without scoring and just going like turnover. But yeah, it's wild. So yeah, I do think on Anthony Edwards, I think this is a good bounce back spot for him. You mentioned the rebounds. I think they're going to bounce back as well. He's had a bit of a range there with the rebounds on the series. He's been at 1 and 2 some games. He's been up to 6 and 7 some others. So I think it's more, given the emphasis that they're going to have on kind of getting rebounding, everybody needs to crash the glass, given how badly they got exposed at the end of last game. Ant should be closer to that, 4 or 5 range than the 1-2 that he's been at in some of these games. What do you think about Ant in this spot?
I mean, whenever there's a national TV game or a big game, we saw the Warriors game when he went off. Like, he just has big games in big spots.
Yep.
So I hate that narrative, but I
Oh,
mean,
it's a good narrative.
yeah, it's legit. Like it's
Yeah.
every time it's a national TV game or a good team, good game, he shows up.
Yep.
He has been a little inconsistent, but I think Ant kind of comes out in a big way here. So yeah, I'd probably lean him if I'm playing DFS or run a ladder on someone.
Mhm.
I could see Ant like having I think his path to a big game is a little bit easier because Cat's getting doubled so hard, like hard every
Right.
time he touches the ball. Literally every time someone sprints over to double. So not every time, but almost every time.
Yeah,
So I really like Ant.
I'm with you on Ant. I will say with Cat though, his role was very poor to start the season, to start the series rather. He was
Mhm.
like hovering around 20% usage on these early games.
Yeah.
He's at 32 and 31 in his last 2 games in usage. It's the highest of the series. So even though he's getting all these doubles, he's still seeing pretty high usage just in general. So I think his floor is pretty good in this spot. I'm with you. I think Ant has the higher ceiling, but I will say that Cat's usage has definitely improved as the series has gone on.
Yeah, and so going to the point guard spot, it's kind of confusing because Jordan McLaughlin has made a really big impact. Like I said, he's basically the Tyus Jones version here,
Totally.
and I think they want organizations that are offense. The D'Lo, if you bet the Wolves, you're gonna hate D'Angelo Russell. Like he just does so many bad things with the basketball in this series. He's a pretty good isolation scorer, but he's a third percentile isolation scorer in this series. It's been all bad. And I looked up a stat the other day. It's insane. Like Ant and D'Lo off the dribble are like 20th efficiency, 20 effective field goal percentage when they're shooting catch and shoots or cuts, like 75-80
Yeah.
in this series in the fourth quarter. Like it's so obvious they've got to spread the ball around. I have concerns that if D'Lo starts slipping and not sticking to the principles Chris Finch is coaching him up on, that McLaughlin cuts him, or
Yeah.
Beverly.
They played McLaughlin a good amount of that fourth quarter of last game too. It's
Hmm.
clear that Finch trusts him, and he should. He's been very good for them this series. So
Yeah.
I agree with you. I will say that you look at the 2 wins that the Wolves have this series. They've been the 2 highest assist
Hmm.
percentage games they've had this year. So when they move the ball, obviously means really good things for the offense. It gets away from that stagnant, inefficient stuff that you've been talking about, isolation off the dribble. Yeah, I mean, that last one of the last possessions there by D'Lo when he
Yeah.
tried to play hero ball, it just took an
Ugh.
egregious shot. My goodness,
Yeah.
man, you get that good version in this series with or the bad version in this series with D'Lo, and you get the good version in the Jazz series with Jordan Clarkson, who was awesome for them. So you
Yeah.
kind of never know.
Yeah, they ran that last play of the game to Ant in the corner three. It was McLaughlin made that pass.
Yeah, yeah,
Finch trusts this dude, man. And there's like he said, when he didn't play him, he's that one game. He's like, sometimes I do stupid things. Like he's gonna play McLaughlin. So
yeah.
it's a matter of and again, like the Wolves are so complicated because their bigs are used as guards in defensive matchups so frequently. So there's my point is like there's so many ways that Beverly can get cut. Beverly's been not a big impact player offensively. I think it's been productive that he's like attacking John Morant so much that it kind of wears him down a little bit.
Yeah.
But I could see McLaughlin certainly cutting because he's not cutting into Ant. Like there's 0% chance of that.
No way.
But I could see him cutting into Russell or Bev. Definitely not both, unless like McDaniels is playing like lights out or something.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, if McLaughlin lines get posted, definitely interested. I was hoping they'd be up, but yeah, I think McLaughlin has a really big game today. If I'm playing DFS and he's cheap, I haven't looked at prices. How about Cat? Do you think that you mentioned the usage rates up? Do you think he could kind of take over?
Yeah, I mean, I like the spot for Cat. I mean, pretty optimistic about Ant, and then Cat's floor is like, I feel pretty good about his chances of getting 45 FanDuel points, if not more, probably 50 plus. Like he's been 52 and 51 the last 2 games. I think that's quite fair. Like I said, he got down to like 12% usage in game 3, I believe, and he's at 32 and 31 the last 2. So feel really good about his role now moving forward.
And then, is there a chance, like again, if you want to really up Vanderbilt's minutes and you're concerned about spacing and all that stuff, is there a tiny chance that he really cuts into Naz Reid here?
Yeah.
Definitely think that's possible. We saw it kind of broken out just for like a couple minutes at a time.
Yeah.
But maybe that's really the biggest. I mean, there's nothing else. I mean, I guess playing Beasley more, which Beasley, he's obviously a weak defender, But if you have Beasley out there, you're naturally going to want to spread the ball more because he's been so good as shooting. But do you think there's any sort of rotations that we may have seen or may see more, or anything that we maybe see that's kind of new? Saw a lot of Taurean Prince late in the game too.
Yeah, I mean, Beasley's minutes are really interesting, man, because he was like mid-20s, even I think up to like 30 in game 1, and he's been like 12 and 14 the last 2 games. So his minutes have been super up and down.
Mm-hmm.
What would you put him at today in terms of?
I think we got him at 19.
Yeah.
Or 18, something like that.
Yeah.
So it's in the high teens.
Because McLaughlin,
18, yeah.
McLaughlin was like pretty much out of the rotation to start the series, right? So that's really where his minutes have gone.
Yeah, I keep wanting to move McLaughlin up. Like we have him at 13, and I think we should put him at like 15, 16, 17.
Yeah.
But I hate you can't really lean into something we don't know because he literally didn't play him. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if McLaughlin beats a lot of people in minutes. Obviously nobody in the starting lineup, and that includes Vanderbilt. But I could see him being the lead bench guy just because, like, again, I mean, Chris Finch's quote, it was pretty much the same, like fouling, turnovers, and isolation ball. Those are the 3 issues. And it's what's crazy is those are such easy things to fix, man. You know, and it's just so tilting that they can't put it all together for 48 minutes. But I think definitely McLaughlin will be that could cut some assist rates for some guys too.
For sure, the betting on the Timberwolves has been a very rough experience, I'll say.
Yeah.
Some games this series.
Yeah, I've been winning most of them. I didn't bet game 2 when they got wrecked.
Yeah.
Have they covered every other game? I think they have.
Yeah, I believe so.
So because I've been hitting pretty good. Yeah, on this one they didn't cover. I forget if I bet that one or not. But yeah, I didn't bet the Wolves yet. But I'm probably going to because they play well.
I think their adjustments are their pass getting better is kind of clear. Like they just need to do definitive things. If they do those things, I think their chances of winning are really good. So I'm hoping they clean up at least one of those 2 things in terms of like the ball movement and then the rebounding. But yeah, like you said, they've outplayed the Grizzlies generally this year. They just had just brutal stretches of time where they're just sputtering, not scoring.
Yeah.
Turn the ball over, taking terrible shots and whatnot. So
yeah. Yep. Yeah, I would definitely pretty much just go max 1 bench player, I think. It's stare down, so never mind. But yeah, I wouldn't lean too much into too many bench guys.
Yeah.
Probably like bench guys are going to be Tyus, Brandon Clark. I'm not on slow-mo. I'm interested in McDaniels. I think McDaniels, if Vanderbilt, I think he only has a big game if Vanderbilt's in foul trouble, though. I think they really, 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 really need Vanderbilt. So I'd probably be flag planting Vanderbilt if we're doing a DFS show.
I mean, if you want to improve rebounding, that's the clearest way to do it. Is play your best rebounder more minutes.
Yeah. He's been like early in his career too, and he's with the Nuggets, and he was an incredible college rebounder at Kentucky too. So yeah, he's definitely the guy. Anything else what's up?
No, I think we're.
Are you're gonna try to how about any what are you doing about live betting on this one? Like if the Wolves go up early, do you just bet the Grizzlies?
Yeah, I mean this series has been so swingy just in general that if you're, that's probably where I'm going to be leaning just in general, just the live market, just because pre-game I have some small conviction and the Timberwolves are probably not good, probably not enough. I'm just maybe bet half a unit if that on the Wolves, but yeah, the live market I think is where it's at. The Grizzlies have actually been really good in the second quarter of this series. I mean, they've won like pretty much every single quarter, so that's something to watch as well.
Tyus and Brandon Clark, man.
That's
their money time.
There you go.
So, but I'm probably gonna bet them not just nibble. I'm not gonna go crazy. I don't want to stress out too much today, but it's Friday, off tomorrow. But anything? You don't have any? Like, you just have one job today is ruling out Zaire Williams, right? Is that your only job?
I have George Hill and Jaylen Brown meet up for Sunday, but that's about it.
Rook, what do you think about that? What's your I forgot to look it up. I assume it's the same hamstring that he hurt in November, and he hurt it again in like
So
late winter.
what's notable about Jaylen Brown is that Udoka spoke twice recently. So we spoke on Wednesday about Jalen's hamstring. And on Wednesday, Udoka said, Jalen's good. He's fine. He'll be okay. On Thursday, he was like, this might be an issue throughout the series. We'll see how he feels. So like, it's a little concerning that in a day's time, Udoka's comments kind of changed in tone that way. I think, it's the playoffs. He'll play game one. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's something to keep an eye on. It's clearly still affecting him and going to be kind of a lingering thing potentially throughout the series.
Yeah, it's going to be a big Jason Tatum series. Very similar to Devin Booker's situation because Booker didn't like pull it bad. Yeah. But he's had such recurring issues with these hamstrings that like they had to shut him down for a week. And man, he looked terrible yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, massive for them to close that series out to get some extra rest.
Yeah, that was big. And the NBA did him a little bit of a favor, not making him play on Saturday.
Yeah,
which was nice. All right, anything else you want to hit on? What's on your mind?
We'll maybe run it back next. We'll see what the schedule looks like, and we'll see.
Definitely, we'll figure something out. You and I love to do the content, and just talking basketball is the best. So we'll figure it out. We'll get the schedule, and I'll still be doing content as I always do. So I appreciate you guys stopping in. Hope you guys learned something. Good luck in your bets tonight. Good luck in DFS. We're not doing any DFS shows. Not sure what we're doing with the injury show going forward. But yeah, hit the like, subscribe. Definitely, I'm sure you guys are all subscribing to Underdog, and it's awesome. Shout out to how did Josh Norris do in his mock last night? Do you know? I didn't.
I think he got wrecked, but he made a lot of money in terms of bets.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw a lot of people cleaned up. We had a plus a 40-1 hit.
Yeah. Awesome. So I think that was the general kind of theme, though. People got wrecked on just the actual mock, but made out pretty well on the betting side, which all that matters.
Yeah,
that's
man, for sure.
You know,
exactly. All right, so you guys enjoy your weekend, enjoy the Saturday off, and thanks for coming on, man.